I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to overcome your addiction to negative emotions. Because what most people don't realize is that they are far more addicted to the familiar patterns of the past than they realize. I'm going to share with you how to transcend these patterns, not to push them away, how to integrate them and move forward towards your highest vision. Because, there's this part of us that wants to stay comfortable in the known. And when I say comfortable, that's an interesting word, because actually what I really mean is the familiar past. But it's not so comfortable oftentimes to stay in the familiar past because it becomes uncomfortable to only be comfortable. Now, once we can follow that higher vision of who we really want to be, that's when things are going to happen for you, and you're going to realize that actually it's a little bit easier in a way to follow your higher self, or who you actually are, than it is to believe in the addictive emotional patterns of who we believe that we are. Of course, we're not that, but we're going to be talking about in this video how to transcend those and move forward towards your highest vision anyways. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, currently the only way to do so is by booking a single session. You can do so by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Now let's just get right into the video. So the first thing that I want to share with you in this video, in terms of how to overcome your addiction to negative emotions, is to, number one, just ask yourself, or just contemplate, where do you do this? Where do you do this? Where are you addicted to the emotional patterns of the past? And just be honest. Be honest, because we really like to blame people out there. Like, oh, this person's being... Okay, just stop all that for a second. We all have that part of ourselves that wants to put all the attention... Okay, just, let's just slow down. Where are we attached to negative emotions? And what do I even mean by negative emotions? Well, negative emotions. Let me clarify that really fast. Negative emotions is nothing more than misaligned energy, which means that your life force energy is not aligned with your intention. If your life force energy is not aligned with your intention, you will experience this as resistance and negative emotion. We can transcend this by realizing that we're addicted to some familiar pattern of the past that contradicts who we truly want to be, our highest vision, right? Our highest vision, our highest self wants to become something, but the familiar patterns of the past, which we're attached to, which creates negative emotion, that is actually stopping you from becoming who you want to be, or at least you're choosing to see it in that way, right? And we can move forward from this entire sham of being, the ego looping onto itself. I don't even want to use the word ego. You can call it ego, like one person on YouTube calls it the ego effect. It's the ego effect. It's just a phenomenon that happens when you're not living with integrity. You start looping onto yourself. Like, you ever have decision fatigue? What is decision fatigue? Decision fatigue is you're in a state of indecisiveness. It's like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? But that's because there's a lack of clarity in the bigger picture oftentimes. Oftentimes when we narrow down what's important to us, you don't have decision fatigue because you've already made all the choices, the bigger choices. And so you're in flow. And when you're in flow and you're not in anxiety, you're not addicted to negative emotions. Negative emotions often is just decision fatigue, lack of clarity, lack of being bold and making choices. And this entire thing can be transcended. First of all, the first step, before I'm going to show you in a moment how to move forward, but just ask yourself, where do you actually do this? And one thing that I want to share with you that's been very, very powerful for me is to learn to use negative emotion. And again, I can even get to a point where, and this is just the states that I've been in recently, where I don't even see things as negative. Like, I just see misaligned energy. So if I'm experiencing confusion or reactivity, or I don't know where I'm going, what I've learned to do is to use that as fuel to go towards my heart and my heart's desire, right? To use all that energy to move forward. Not even to see negative emotion, but I've reprogrammed myself to say, okay, yeah, this is resistance. Okay, resistance means I'm out of alignment with who I really am. And so I'm learning to move the energy forward. And so this is learning to have this bigger picture, this bigger vision of, who you really want to be in your life, right? This greater vision, and learning to say no to the pain, say no to the resistance. Not by feeding it energy, but by learning to move forward and focusing on where you want to go, regardless of what the pain is trying to tell you. Because the old patterns will try to keep you stuck. They'll try to lock you in its grip. You have to see those patterns coming. You're trying to infiltrate energy, and you have to say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm moving towards my vision, no matter what these past patterns are trying to tell me. I'm moving towards my vision, no matter what the fear is trying to tell me. I speak to the fear. I speak boldly to the fear. I speak to the fears in my field. If I'm fearful against something, I'm going to speak to it. We can speak to our fears a lot greater than we realize. You can actually speak to your fears. You can speak to your fear. If you're experiencing fear, you can speak to it. You can speak to the fear. Move it forward. Move the energy. Say to yourself out loud, I'm not allowing this fear to control me any longer. I'm not allowing this negative emotion to control me any longer. I'm not allowing this dynamic with this situation, with this person, with this whatever, doesn't matter, with this relationship, with whatever thing in life, to create a negative energy of resistance in my body anymore. You got to step back into your values and align with what's really important to you. What's important to you? What's important to me is being aligned with my greater vision. The energy of alignment is most important to me. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I fall into reactivity all the time. But the question is, how long? How long are we going to stay in those mistakes? Are you going to learn from those mistakes and move forward, right? When we get lost in loops, when we get lost in the same mistakes again and again and again, that's when we start to get stuck. So I'm inviting you to learn to move the energy forward. Stop allowing the resistance to keep you stuck. Use the resistance as fuel. If you notice that resistance trying to push at you, you know what you do? You amplify your energy even more. You amplify your aura even more, your energy even more. You amplify, and you know what? You speak to it, and you see it in a way that's going to help you to move forward. And any belief or perspective that's going to help you to re-alchemize all that entire situation and reinterpret that entire situation. Snap yourself out of the unconscious haze. Snap yourself out of snap yourself out of the unconsciousness, right? You don't need to be living in that derp state. The derp state, snap out of it right now. You don't need to be in that state. Learn to use all of that and move the energy forward instead. Now, the third and final thing that I want to share with you in this video is that mistakes are fine. Okay, falling into reactivity, being in a little bit of like a past pattern or an old way, it's fine. It's gonna happen. We're all human. It's not about being perfect every single day. It's about remembering the greater vision. The greater vision. So when you're getting caught up in soul pattern, it's fine. It's okay. Just don't get stuck there and move forward, right? When you notice you're getting reactive, yeah, that's fine. It's okay. It's no big deal. Just see it, acknowledge it, speak to it in whatever way that you need to speak to it, and then move forward anyways, because you're not allowing that negativity to impact you. So that is really ultimately how you overcome the negative emotions, is you learn to have a value system where you value how you actually feel, and you look at the situations in your life that are causing you pain and that are causing you resistance, and you learn to have clear boundaries against those things and move forward towards a greater vision. And might be a logical way to look at it, but what I've realized is that when we don't have a vision to ground us in who we are, when we don't have an identity that we say, this is the way that I am and this is who I am, you can become very ungrounded, and it can put you into a lot of resistance. And it doesn't have to be that way. So the reason I'm even explaining that is because that whole shame of resistance is okay. Now, it's to realize that you can fall into that, and that's fine, but not to stay there and to move forward, not to get attached, right? There's a reason why the Buddha said the reason why we all suffer, right? Suffering comes from attachment, right? It's from attachment. Because what's happening is that when you attach your consciousness to one particular state and you don't want to move forward, then that's when the negative emotion starts to happen, because you're clinging on to reality. You got to learn to use that and move forward, right? Move forward from the past. When you move forward from the past, what's happening is that you're not attached anymore and you stop suffering. So that's just one invitation. Of course, there's many different ways to overcome negative emotions, but for me personally, I'll be honest with you, just to conclude this video, that is the only thing that has ever worked for me. So that's just for me personally, you know, if there's something else that works for you, whatever, but for me personally, like that is the only thing that has ever worked for me. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, the only way to do that currently is to book in a single session. You can do so by hitting a link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, leave a like on this video only if you want to, because I do believe that actually every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are divine creators of their reality, and that actually they can manifest the reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next